So everybody's closing ratio went down, but there's still someone with the highest closing ratio, and that goes to. So the numbers are numbers, so we got to go over that. That is our worst month in 10 months. Okay, so it's been 10 months since we had a low month like that, and then we sometimes go back and say, hey, last year in July, what did we do? And sometimes we're like, yeah, look how much more we did than last year. We did more. Last July was 279. But I just want to let you guys know that I'm very proud of. What are some things we could be proud of?
Staying positive after all these changes, for example.
Yeah. That's really the big thing, okay? Positivity is one of my core values in how we live life, and I feel like we did a great job at that, okay? I already know other agencies are like, they're just like bitching and crying, and a lot of times it starts from the top where the agency owner is so stressed out, they're like, oh man, I'm going to sell this business, it's not going to be going well, and just like complaining about farmers or DOI, the California government and stuff like that. And I know there's a lot of people that are just not doing well mentally in their head because of what's going on. After our agency, we couldn't really even tell. Everybody was working hard, everybody was smiling, it wasn't like different. And sometimes when numbers aren't good, sometimes that's when people are like, oh, she said this, and blah, 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 and like, oh, she stole my lead, and like just a bunch of like bad stuff starts piling up, and just makes business even worse. Or it's already hard as it is, but then you have some negativity, then it gets even worse. And we just had none of that. We were just like business as usual, and people were just smiling, laughing, and working hard. Some of us even working even harder. And we stuck together as a team. I think it's kind of easy when we're always having record-breaking months to be like, yeah, we're a team. But when it's bad, that's when we really find out about ourselves. And I felt like we stuck together as a team. We had each other's back. And a lot of good teams go through difficult times, they get stronger. So I feel like that's kind of what we went through. But I'm just really proud of just really appreciate you guys for just staying positive and just having the optimism and really putting the trust in me, because you guys have to, I'll figure something out because my job is to provide a financial opportunity for your family's future. And I don't take that lightly. So, I have a lot of plans. Well, I will tell you guys last month, man, last month was the hardest I ever worked in my whole life. And it was kind of worked out because, my wife and the kids were in Japan. So I had nothing else to do.
You're ready to think about Hawaii.
I need a break, y'all. But I worked my ass off, and that's because I just feel tremendous responsibilities for you guys. Okay. It was a lot of planning, but, I said it a bunch of times, when there's ever an obstacle, there's always an opportunity. So what are some things that we've kind of like transitioned to this month?
Quoting more homes?
More homes, yep. I want to get more leads there. Okay, we'll get into that, more home leads, because I went through that training and I feel like you guys are ready for more. I just want to let you guys know that my commitment to you guys is as strong as ever because, again, I don't take your guys' loyalty lightly, okay? I'm here to do my job and work hard, There was a time during the month where I just literally just passed out due to fatigue. I just worked too much and I had to go home and I stepped it off. Because I was just so tired. Sometimes you just remember different summers for different reasons. Like you guys ever had like the summer where hanging out with that person, or summer of going to that area to hang out all the time, and just remember that this is a summer I remember of just grinding. And it was a summer where I remember that hey, some of these things that we never would have done is paying off years later. So I'm really excited about the future, and I just really want to appreciate you guys for your positivity, optimism, and trust you guys are putting into me. And I just want to let you guys know that even though I'm happy, there's just no way I'm going to be acceptable with these numbers here, okay, and your guys' numbers. So I'm going to do my job. We'll talk about your guys' job in a little bit, but I'm very excited and optimistic about our future because of some of these changes we made. They're going to have long-term, make a huge long-term difference for us. All right? Great, so let's get into the winners here. The most hours, we have Jazz at 108%. That's 12 hours of overtime. Not missing any work. She was sick for 2 weeks too, and she just came in here, and just did her best. And I guess she worked 3 Saturdays to make it 12. Yeah, perfect. Yeah, that's what it was. perfect attendance, 12 hours. So during the time when there's challenges, a lot of times people will have like a built-in excuse, like, oh, perfect. I could just say it's this fault. And just be like, oh, I'm going to work less because it's harder now. So, if I do less, I have something to blame. But she wasn't having that. She said, I'm going to actually work harder because my goals are staying the same. She was on the phone the most at 46 hours. Most phone hours at 1,120. Calls as far as taking and making. So it just shows us that she is working even harder than ever now. So let's get up for Jazz. Now the payment contest was super close. We had 3 agents over 80. And the winner won by 4. The winner of the July payment is Linda with 86. America had 82, very close. And actually Maria had 82 too. So it was a very close contest. But let's congratulate Linda for 2 months in a row. The highest closing ratio, we have somebody in this room now 4 months in a row. So everybody's closing ratio went down, but there's still someone with the highest closing ratio, and that goes to Kalia. Still at 20%. What do you think is helping your closing ratio?
Just following up, texting, calling.
It's a great way to connect to people, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because there's a lot of conversations where it's like, oh, that's good, but it's like kind of 50-50. You can't read them. So you just have to the follow-up is when you get the deal done. But other than that, I think you also do a great job of just understanding what their situation is and emphasizing with them.
Yeah.
I think you're really good at that and exaggerating it.
Yeah.
I think that's the key to sales, and I think you're the best at that. All right, so the third place finisher, we have Blanca. She's averaging 49,000, so last month she did 44,000, so the dip wasn't there. And I think one thing with her situation is, one story that I could tell you about her month is that it was 5:05 and we got a call for a Spanish quote. And then I was like, hey, Blanca, you want to do that? Because I know you're off. She was like, okay, I'll do it. Sent it to her. I started at 5:05. It did take a whole hour, but it ended up being a 9-car policy that was $3,300 in premium. So I was like, man, that's a perfect example of a situation where you just take that one more call, work 5 extra minutes, and that can make a big difference. Not every single time it will pay off for you, but you get a habit of just doing one more call, taking one more call, working 10 more minutes to get a result. And that was a huge sale that made a big difference in your month and our month. So that was just a great story that I want to share with you guys that, hey, times like this, we actually have to increase our work ethic, not decrease our goals. So let's get up for Blanca. And we actually had somebody that had their best month ever. Can you believe that? Last month? The situation they're in? Yeah. Let's get up for America. Okay, she went from 15K to 23K. A lot of that was in the beginning of the month, before some of the changes. But I'll tell you, she worked July 4th, and her attendance is at 101%. And, talk about someone who, with everything that's going on. Now, I try my best, and I'm really not that stressed out about everything, but sometimes, the numbers are numbers, and I feel, again, tremendous responsibility and pressure on me to make sure you guys can make money. So during a month like this, it was just great to have somebody positive and so calming and not panicking, obviously, at all, and just keeps me even keel. And that's really important in business, is to not get over emotional. When things are bad, you're not going to be like, oh, this is the worst. And when things are good, you're not going to be like, I'm the best. I don't have to work hard anymore. You have to be even keel. And I think that's kind of her personality, and that helps me stay that way too. So let's get up for America, and thank you for having such a great month in a lot of ways. And second place is Jazz. Okay, one thing I'll share with you guys with Jazz. Again, I feel like she's our emotional leader. She was stressed out, and she was like, fuck this, I can't sell. I'm like, bitching all the time. Then it's kind of going to rub off to everybody, But she just kept this, as if she had 70K. Like, you couldn't tell the difference. She was working hard. She worked even more. And she kept it still real, though, what's going on. It's not like we're going to be like, everything's fine. She's going to be like, okay, well, this is the situation. Well, this is that. Well, if you look at the bright side, because she talks a lot and she's loud, we all could hear. And I think I appreciate that so much, because the culture of our agency starts from me, obviously. So I can't be panicked, and I have to be confident in where we're going. But, she's someone that you guys can relate to more, and she's working hard. She's setting a good example for all of us and keeping it positive. That's one thing that I appreciate more than anything from this month, because sometimes when it's true difficulty comes, that's when our true colors shows. And she just said, hey, like, it's not realistic where we're just going to get better and better every single month. We're due for something like this. Like, she was actually surprised it didn't come for a long time were challenges. So she just had just a great attitude about it. And I know her attitude rubs off to everybody in this office. But her number is still, $49K, $4,700 in commission, made a total of $7,700. I didn't do the overtime calculation because that was a little too much. So her numbers are higher than this, $44 an hour. But yeah, had the right positive mindset. So let's get up for Jazz. The first place finisher is somebody that we all know, is Laura. So let's get up for Laura. One thing I want to share with you guys with Laura, we could learn a lot from Jazz, okay, but from Laura, what I want to share with you guys is the word diversification. It kind of means that you're making money in different ways. What can she do? She could do the live, she could do the commercial, she could do commercial with Craft Lake, she could do the vacant homes, and she could do the landlord protectors, and she could do, obviously, homes in different states and things like that, and then just different lines of policy. So I think that's where experience, expertise, and smarts to be able to learn those other products and actually not fearing trying those new products, because a lot of people will feel very comfortable with one line of policy and they become really good at that, but they don't move on to next things. So I think that's a good example of when things change to be able to write different policies, because she's probably going to be affected the least with everything that's going on here because the other stuff you could do. Now, same thing applies with different ways of making money. What are other ways to make money here?
Cross-sell?
Cross-sell, but yeah, that's kind of similar to what we're talking about, just different lines of policies. Okay. Other ways to make money here is just get your hours in. That's what Jazz did. I mean, that overtime pay helps. If she can't make money one way, then she'll make money off the hour. Okay, so it's really important to know that, hey, like in the situation where this is kind of like not that running smoothly, then I could try to do these other avenues I have to make money at this office here. And that's one thing that we could learn from Jazz and Laura. Anytime we have a little opportunity to learn something, I could tell people are more eager to learn. Like, oh, okay, I want to learn that. Bamboo, what's that? Like, okay, we can't bat homes, we can't do it formers. Okay, I'll try that. And some people are like, California Fair Plan, oh, no. Like, it's just like being open to trying different things and learning the new different products definitely helps out in the long run. So that's, I think, one thing I've seen from Laura that she's always does is adapt and learn and try different things that is paying off for her now. All right, so, and then Jazz, okay, I'll go back to her. I want to share with you guys one thing that we talked about in the last meeting. So she told me her goal is 70K. Okay, now these changes happen, right? And then for our team it was 450K, let's just say. And a lot of times when challenges happen, a lot of people will just be like, okay, well, it's hard now, so, and we did 283, let's have our goal at 300K. Or Jazz could be like, oh, okay, well, now my goal is going to be 50K because what happened? They could like rationalize that kind of, right? Like, it's harder now, so my goal should be less, right? So people will lower their goals very fast and easy. Okay, someone like Jazz, and what I like to do here is, if this is your work ethic here, that's your level here, you got to control that with your energy level. Okay, it's all about how you sleep, what you eat, and if you're exercising or not, and just overall your energy, not just how many hours, but what type of hours you're putting in. And I just don't want to accept this. Because if this is 350, our goal is 450. Well, let's just say it's 500 for next year. That's not going down for me. Okay, what I'm doing is having this work ethic go up. My creativity going up, my discipline going up, my energy level up, just so I could figure something out. So that's why I worked as hard as I can, because there's no way I'm just going to sacrifice that. Okay, and that's where a lot of times when people go through an obstacle, they'll just like be like, okay, well, this makes sense. And it's like, if you're lazy, it's like, oh, perfect, I have this excuse, like I said. I'm already insecure and my self-image is not good, so I don't want to blame it on my laziness or my uncreativity or my lack of passion. I'm just going to blame it on outside circumstances, so I don't have to increase this. But high performers who have goals, and that's why it's so important to have goals, clear-cut goals, will not sacrifice on that, and they'll just get their work ethic level up, their creativity level up, and they'll figure something out, so this stays the same. And that's how I want to be as a team right now. And I just loved it. No one really made any excuses. It is what it was. The number is what. But Jazz, me, other people worked harder now, harder than ever, because they're not letting go of that goal. They're not decreasing their goals. They're increasing their work ethic. That was a great example there. So I just want to let you guys know that I'm just very excited. I'm very, I talked about in the last meeting in a sick way. I was kind of like happy and kind of like excited that we're going through something like this, because it's our chance to like think of something, and when your back's against the wall, that's when you really become creative. So this month I mentioned to you guys, I really had some time to think, and just want to write out to you guys my job duties here. I thought about it hard. Okay, so what would you guys say my job here to do is? Here's your chance.
To provide us some work.
Provide us some work, yeah, in the form of?
Phone calls,
We gotta have a plan.
servicing and leads.
Okay, I like what Kalia said. Okay, the plan. Okay, that is my job is to like not steer us towards the wrong direction. As a leader, I can't just be like, okay, well, everything's fine. I have to pivot and take us to a direction. So planning is a big part. When I say I worked really hard, a lot of it was just me just like thinking for like 2 hours, like just sitting there thinking, or like taking walks and just thinking. It wasn't like hardcore like data entry or like coding, which I had to do some of that too, writing out scripts. But a lot of it was planning. Okay, and what Jason was saying is that you guys could be the best salesperson in the whole world, but if you guys didn't have anybody to talk to in the form of leads, it's like you can't close them. You could do some marketing yourself, and I really encourage you guys doing that in times like this. But I look at my responsibility is to keep you guys busy in the form of leads and training and motivation. There's there's things, but leads is something that's definitely here. Okay, I'm gonna train and I'm gonna motivate. And I mentioned this to the last group, so I'll talk about this a little bit. The leads. Okay, I just again feel so much responsibility for you guys' financial future that I'm looking at the numbers, and I've already kind of made a decision that I'm going to try to get the lead volume up. Now, it already wasn't a great financial month for me last month, but I'm willing to make the sacrifice. Okay, because I have money saved up, and it's not like I'm going to be in like bad financial situation if I don't make money or lose a little money for 1 or 2 months maybe. So that's kind of the plan here to get the leads up here. Okay, so just want to let you guys know that I'm going to try to do my job the best I can, because I take my job really seriously. Okay, so let's talk about your guys' job. Start there. Okay, let's be here. Okay, again, it's all about, I don't know. Maybe it's the same thing. What you eat, if you're exercising, if you're sleeping well, just doing everything you can to take care of your body and your mind so you're in a healthy situation, and you could be here, I think. Because I don't want to be buying a whole bunch of leads and be like, okay, I've done that before. I buy like a whole bunch of leads. I'm like, let me step up this lead game here. Let's blow this place up. And then Monday, like 3 people call off. I'm just like, okay, back down. Because I just don't want phone calls to be ringing or people not following up on them. And it's just something that a big part of how we work together. To sell, let's close some deals here. I love it. Okay, so that's, sell. So that means working on your skill, working on product knowledge, being coachable, being trainable. Those are all things that helps you sell. There's so many different ways to get better at the sales game, but just make that a commitment. Like, I gotta sell. And then have more energy to be able to do the follow-ups, be sharper, know what to say, take training seriously, and be better at selling. Because again, if I get a whole bunch of lead volume, but if we're not closing them, then that's just not a good formula. It just makes our financial situation worse, where the investment's not worth it. So, yeah. And then what else?
Customer service.
Customer service. Yep. Thank you. Super important now than ever. It's gonna get crazy next year, because if you guys think like right now, people are like, oh, people are so stupid. Of course, insurance rates are gonna go up. Well, wait till next year. They're in for a surprise.
Is it going to go up a lot?
It's gonna go up a lot. California hasn't had a rate increase since 2020.
Oh my god.
Oh, really?
And that's the whole reason we're in this mess. I don't want to get political or anything like that, but the government is like, okay, we've got to protect the consumer, so we can't raise rates. Sorry, guys, we can't raise rates. Well, if you can't raise rates, then the companies are going to back out of California like Geico did, because this is BS. We don't want to sell insurance and lose money. Jazz got in an accident yesterday. Judah got in an accident earlier this month. Accidents are happening like crazy. Okay, the traffic is getting worse, and the used cars prices are 40% higher. The rates weren't calculated with the used cars prices going up. And then there's inflation in car parts, and when people get hit, and loss of earnings, and just lawyers getting more aggressive and stuff like that. There's just so many things that makes it. Business is supposed to be an open market where where businesses are allowed to make changes based on circumstances. But with a highly regulated government, which California is, not letting us do that, we're in this mess where companies don't want to do business in California anymore. Now, I'll tell you, luckily for us, we were with Farmers Insurance, and Farmers Insurance started 94 years ago in California, in LA. Okay, so since we started there, we're committed here. Meaning that State Farm and Allstate, they started in Illinois, so a bunch of companies, and Ohio, Bristol was started in Florida, we bought them out. But a lot of companies are more like East Coast. There's not that many big West Coast insurance companies, and Farmers is there. And 40% of everything we do is in California, and most of it is more west. But if Farmers is so committed and has so much policies in California, they're not going to be like, okay, let's not non-renew everybody because it's like, you literally can't afford to do that. We're too big here. So that is something that I feel better about the company that we're with because we're committed to being in California. So yeah, next year, okay, customer service is going to be very huge because it's hard to rewrite.
When did we get here?
How did we get here? Like, what are they talking about?
Increase next year.
Yeah, customer service is going to be super important. We can't rewrite people as easy anymore. You know, and insurance companies kind of look at like people who get rewritten. Those are the type of people they feel like make a lot of claims. Because like, oh, I got an accident. Let me just rewrite myself. You know, so they want to kind of avoid that situation. So helping them like, hey, let's have a consistent history of consistent insurance here because we want to keep insuring people. You know, because it's going to get more and more difficult for people who kind of go off, come back on all the time. And truthfully, they take a lot of customer service and people who aren't like that make our job easier too. But that's our book of business, and we're going to have empathy, and we care about everybody that are insured with us. So customer service, definitely, Jason. Glad you brought that up. That's another one. One last one. Your job here is to have a great attitude, which you guys have. I really don't want to just like not make a big deal about that. I really just appreciate you guys coming in here and just having a great attitude. Okay? I mean, it just, you guys didn't cause me any drama. Nobody was beefing with each other. No one was really complaining, and we just had a great attitude. So that's kind of your job. So I wanted to make sure I do my part of my deal here. Okay, so we're going to give this a try. Do this part, and I think we're going to get through this that way too, amongst other things. Yeah, I just want to share with you guys one other thing here. I was on a podcast, and they asked me like, hey, you know, a lot of times, you know, how you are is kind of how the agency is, and what you value, what's most important to you, is kind of how your agency is. So he asked me like, so what are the two things that you value the most, and what is your agency like because of that? So two values that I was put on the spot there. And I think it was kind of cool that I went through that exercise, mental exercise, because that actually made me really simple down what we're going through a little bit more. Because we want to get back to the fundamentals sometimes when things are so complicated and there's so many changes going on. So what do you guys think I said?
Like employees?
Working hard, one for sure.
There you go. Okay, that was it. Okay, I said I'm a hard worker. Maybe a DNA thing. Maybe it's just because I saw my dad. But I just believe in that. You know, I think when you're working hard, the people that stay here are generally the people that believe in, like, we have the same values. Like, people who don't believe in that usually don't work out here. You know, it's just like, oh, I didn't know it's going to be this busy. It's like, okay, well, you know, it doesn't work out because they didn't have the same values. But I value this because I do believe this actually even makes you a happier person, because we talked about it here. You're doing all the right things, and just makes me a better, you know, parent. It makes me a better husband. It makes me a better son. It just gives me more energy in life to do things that I want to do. So if you want to be a hard worker, because you can't be sick and hurt and being great at sales or making a lot of money. You know, so being a hard worker is not only for financial reasons, but it's for just really happiness reasons, because you're going to be taking care of your body more. You're going to be, you know, making sure you're strong, not only physically, but mentally too. And it's just overall, it just helps in so many ways. So I just really believe in this, guys. And I just believe that's what our team is all about. We're a hardworking team. And I'm really proud to be able to say that in the podcast. I was like, we are. I really feel, I mean, who works on July 4th? America did. And then Saturdays, every Saturday, I haven't missed any Saturdays until I had Corona. I couldn't wake up. I didn't know. I didn't know what the heck was going on. That was the only Saturday I missed in like the 15-year history of our agency, probably. So I take pride in that, and you guys should too, that you're able to hang at an agency that works really hard. Okay, what's number 2? This one was a little harder one maybe for you guys. Kind. You guys are like, really?
I know.
I like to generally consider myself as a kind person, okay? And I let you guys know that, there's a lot of reasons to be kind. Okay, first of all, it's free. Okay, customer calls in, you get a lead. You're not losing anything for being kind. Like, what is there to lose? Like, you're not like paying them money. It's like, it's free to be kind. Number 2, it's good for business. Okay, so I like to think about, and I think I naturally am a kind person. I get that from my mom's side, actually. But being kind actually makes you make more money. It's crazy. Like, people are, the jerks, the meanest people are the ones that make the least money. If you're kind, you're helping, trying somebody out, and they sense that. Like, oh, this person is not trying to sell me. This person's trying to help me. You can do the customer service. Oh, okay, I'm going to stay with this person. I'm going to give them a referral. It's crazy how good it is for business. And luckily, it came natural to me, and then also kind to each other. It's just better to be nice to each other, co-workers, staff members, employees. And then also during times like this, I would say when numbers are down and there might be more stress and stuff like that, at the end of the day, I just feel good about myself because I know what my intent is. Like, even though the numbers maybe aren't there, it's like I have no guilt going to sped, because I'm just like, okay, well, I know I want to help out my employees. I try my best and try my best for my clients. And you just kind of end up being more kind to yourself. Your self-image kind of improves because you're like, well, I'm a nice person. So even though my numbers aren't good, it's all good because I'm a nice person. And I think that these 2 things leads to happiness. So I just want to share with you guys that, yes, sometimes you get the same customer. It's like, why do my rates go up? Like, all this stuff, customer service could just get, explain the same thing over and over again. It's like, they still don't get it. And it's just like, you guys are in the front lines. You guys are talking to the clients, So as difficult as it could be, or it could be the same lead, or some people are cheap, or some people are just rude. But I do want to just overall just let you guys know, because when I first started selling insurance, man, I was the nicest person. If someone called me, I was like taking the calls, taking all the time that they needed. Just being nice has built. And then when I had my first employer, I was like, let me just be as nice as possible to this person. It just came natural to me, and it has paid off for me. We're a hardworking and kind group. And that's what we have to kind of focus on. Even though when times are tough, especially when times are tough, we have to go back to our basics and just remind ourselves, how do we get here? Just a little asterisk. Sometimes this could, backfire if you go too much. Just the right amount. And then kind to the right person. Yeah. Maybe like somebody wanted to borrow money from me, like a friend. Like, sometimes I have to, I don't, those are principles. I'm like, no, like work harder, get overtime, sell something, come on. I actually feel like I'm being nice telling them that than just giving them money. Or, if a friend just wants to just party and just using me to just drink, be drink parties and stuff like that, So you got to be nice to the right person. I would say I'm nice to people who I make money with. I've always been nice to coworkers. I've always been extremely nice to clients and also family members, people who taking care of kids, stuff like that. Just like being nice to the right people. You do have to watch out who you're nice to, but business-wise, it's really good for business. It's going to help us make more money. So I just want to let you guys know the big picture of what we're like, because as we go through these challenges, what's going to get us through is we're going to keep working hard and treat people the right way. That's going to get us to the next level. So I really appreciate you guys for having the right attitude last month. Okay, this month, we'll see what happens, but we're definitely going in the right direction. Sometimes changes, they don't happen overnight. We have to keep working on it. But it's going to be a new era. I'm really excited for new things to come. I got a lot of things in the pipeline here. And I'm going to be working harder than ever for you guys. So I'll do this, and then you guys will do that, and we're going to be going in the right direction. All right, guys? All right, great. Let's get it. Thank you, guys.